this class, we will make you do a survey to see how this all is going, and if you have any tips and or I don't know, tops, whatever. If you have any comments about how the course is run, if any constructive criticism. So please fill it out at the end. I'll send you the link. Yes, that's basically it. Let's start with lesson 16, which is about, I can't read it. Vergelijken, yes, which means comparisons. We're going to teach you how to compare things in Dutch, which means going over adjectives again. So first, eerst gaan we het huiswerk van les 15 bespreken. First we'll go through the homework of lesson 15. Then we'll have the werkwoord van de week. We'll first repeat how adjectives are used in Dutch, and then we'll go over the grappen van vergelijking, comparatives and superlatives. We'll have a break. We'll have a quick recap of how works and how prepositions work, and then we hopefully have enough time, and hopefully that won't be too much trouble. Have you practice talking about prepositions. And that's it for this week. And then afterwards, the survey. Okay. Ik begin met huiswerk. Okay, so for last week's homework, you had to translate sentences to Dutch and translate sentences to English. And so for this, I hope you did it. If you know the answer, please unmute your mic and tell me the answer. It will take too much time for have you typed in the chat. So this would need to translate to English. Nothing beats a glass of wine in the evening. Does anyone know the answer or the translation? Anyone there?
Klopt niet een wijnglas op avond.
Yes, that would be a good literal translation. This is kind of a mean question because it's in Dutch. Nothing beats is translated not literally like this. You need to have in Dutch you would say nothing beats something. You would say gaat niets boven. There nothing goes above the thing. So, and again, this construction in English is also kind of colloquial, so it's kind of hard to translate literally. This would be an example of translation. Gaat niets. Oh, there should be an S. Gaat niets boven 's avonds een glas wijn drinken. Of gaat niets boven een glas wijn 's avonds. Of gaat niets boven een glas wijn in de avond. Next one. This one you can sort of more literally translate. To get used to speaking. Something smells like gasoline. Anyone?
Benzine.
Could you repeat it?
Rookt naar benzine.
Yes, almost. You missed, I think, one word. Ruikt iets naar benzine. There smells something like gasoline. Something smells like gasoline. But yeah, otherwise correct. Have the mice eaten from it? Kind of a weird sentence in English, I have to say, but in Dutch it's more common to say it like this. Anyone?
Heb de muis van gegeten?
Yes, almost. But there's mice, it's plural. So you say hebben de muizen ervan gegeten. But we could use this back.
What does that mean? That doesn't really make sense.
Which one?
What does that mean? Have the mice eaten from it?
Yeah, indeed. That's indeed a bit of a weird sentence in Dutch. It looks more like a literal translation from the. It looks a bit weird in English. Sorry, it looks like a literal translation from the Dutch. Have the mice eaten from it? Yeah. I don't know. You're talking about cheese, and it looks a bit suspicious, and you look like you're.
Okay. So this is a Dutch phrase then. Hebben de muizen.
Oh no, it's not a saying or anything. It's just literally about mice, and they ate something.
Okay, thank you.
All right. People
Can I
pay
ask,
attention to it.
please?
Oh, Vera?
Yes. Why cannot we can we change gegeten and erwan order or not?
No, you can't. The other verbs in a sentence, in a clause in Dutch, they always go at the end. So you would need to put gegeten at the end.
Okay. Is it because it's question or is just an order?
No, if it was a statement, the mice ate from it. You would also say de muizen hebben ervan gegeten. So you would always put the past participle at the end of it. Just like
Okay, yeah. Okay, thanks.
From Dutch syntax is a bit confusing, so good yes. All right, the last one. Oh no, this is the last one. The fourth one. People don't pay attention to it.
Mensen letten niet op.
Yes, almost. There's many ways to translate this. Mensen letten niet erop. Yeah, I think you could say that maybe. Because the need makes this a bit complicated. But I would probably say mensen letten niet op. So I did tell you always the and the preposition, they go together. And then, of course, this is a case where that doesn't happen. Yeah, with negations, it becomes a bit tricky. Because negations are also tricky. But letten niet erop, that I would count it. That would not be the most common way people would say it, but it is a way. Right, the last one. How many do you have?
Hoeveel heb jij?
Hoeveel heb jij? Yeah, you need an R here. Hoeveel heb je er? When it's talking about numbers in Dutch, you need an R here. But otherwise, hoeveel heb je could also be correct. Hoeveel heb je? Yeah, I can't describe it. All right, that was exercise 1, where you had to translate to English, to Dutch. Now you have to translate to English. So the first one, nu heb ik er genoeg van. What is the correct translation for a?
Something like, no, I've got enough of it.
Yes, I've had enough of it now. Oh, there shouldn't be a T there. Now I've got enough of it. Something like that. Yes, correct. Er is veel regen gevallen. I have to say, this one I also found a bit tricky. I didn't really know how to translate this perfectly.
It rained a lot, but
Yeah,
literally like a lot of rain. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of rain has fallen. Would be literal, but you wouldn't say that in English. De mensen lopen eromheen.
The people walk around it.
Yes, perfect. The fourth one. Er lijkt iets mis te gaan.
It seems that something's wrong.
Yes. It is indeed. It seems something's wrong. Mis te gaan. Then you would probably translate it as something is going on. It's like a process. Because this is how you do the continuous in Dutch. We will treat that in the next lesson. But yes, something seems to be going wrong, or yes. And last one, er komt geen einde aan.
There is no end to it.
Yeah, there's no end to inside or to it. Yes, very good. All right. Milena, ik denk dat ik nog even snel de herhaling van de ene ding doe. De goede naamwoorden. En kan jij dan de nieuwe dingen doen?
Ja.
Okay, cool. So first, het werkwoord van de week, kopen, which means to buy. So, in de tegenwoordige tijd is het ik koop, jij koopt, hij, zij, het koopt, wij kopen, jullie kopen, zij kopen. De verleden tijd, het is een onregelmatig werkwoord, het is een irregular verb in the past simple. So it becomes ik kocht, jij kocht, hij kocht, wij kochten, jullie kochten, zij kochten. And the past participle, oh wow, it's correct for once. Nice. It has heeft. Ik heb gekocht, jij hebt gekocht, hij, zij, het heeft gekocht en wij, jullie, zij hebben gekocht. Now I've said that gekocht so many times, it sounds very weird. It's a very pleasing sound. It means to buy. So, buy, bought. All right. So, adjectives, bijvoeglijk naamwoorden. You should have had this in the beginner's course, but if you haven't done the beginner's course, maybe good to have a refresher for this. If you did done the beginner's course, still good to have a refresher for this. It works okay, but it has some stuff. So these slides are literally from the beginner's course, that's why they're in English instead of Dutch. So the adjectives in Dutch always go before the noun, after the article. So de mooie stoel, een mooie stoel. We have three articles in Dutch, de, het en een. So the definite, the masculine / feminine one, the definite, neuter one, and indefinite. Or you could put it as like as a predicate after is. So you say de stoel is mooi. The chair is pretty. Beautiful chair. How do you make this? If the article is after de or het, take the adjective and you add yeah, so you get de mooie stoel, het mooie. The normal adjective is mooi, or after de or het becomes mooie. After een, you have two cases. If it is before a de word, just add an e again, so you get een mooie stoel. If it's before a het, you don't add an e. You get een mooi boek. Don't get een mooie boek. If it's after is, then you don't add an e, so you get the stoel is mooi. So basically, after an article, add an e. Not after an article, then don't add an e. Or if it's after and it's a het word, I add an don't add. That one is the most difficult one to remember, but everyone will understand you if you don't add that article. If you do take a comment. So, well, that's not the only thing. Spelling. Because if you put e after the end, then get another vowel.
Bij mij val je af en toe weg. Ik weet niet of dat bij de rest ook is, maar...
Oh, okay.
And everyone still hear Thomas, or? Kan ook zijn dat het aan mij lag hoor, maar...
No, it was cutting a bit in the middle.
Oh.
Yes, okay. I am back again, I hope. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. All right, and I'll repeat. Was this part clear, or do you need me to repeat this?
No, this was clear, but something you said in the end, I could not hear it all. But that's fine. I think
Okay.
this is pretty clear to me, at least.
Good. Then I'll just go here because whatever I said there will also be repeated here. Just like making plurals and kind of the reverse of making the stem, or forming the stem. If you add an e or take away an e, then the spelling of the pronunciation of that words change because it's dependent on the order of consonants and vowels. So if you have groot, for example, which means big, then if you would have de grote stoel, then that would be again we would have one O too many. We don't need an extra O here in the middle one, so we get rid of it because GROTE, this O would always be pronounced as a tense O, like O. So we don't need two O's to make it clear that we mean O instead of O. In the second case, if we add an E after dick, which means thick, then the I would be pronounced not as I, but as E. So the middle one would be het dikke boek. That's not the same sound as we had before. So we need to add an extra K after dick to make sure that it's still pronounced as dick. Het dikke boek. If you're unfamiliar with these spelling rules, then the first lecture of the beginner's course goes into that in more detail. So if you want to recap on that, just look there. Finally, if you have an S or an F at the end of a word and you add an E to the end, then we transform that into a Z or a V. So here we have lief and man. We don't say een lieve man, but we say een lieve man with a V. So lief means sweet, man means man. Yes. And wijs and vrouw, een wijze vrouw, you wouldn't say. We turn that S into a Z, een wijze vrouw. And the reason for this is that at the end of words we prefer unvoiced consonants, like s and f. And in the middle of words we prefer voiced consonants, like z and v. Note, this is not the case if the middle vowel is not a tense one. So if you, for example, have the word dof. Yes. Well, okay. So this word, that took a while to come up with a vowel that has this. Dof. So this O is a lax consonant vowel. And so we would not turn this into this, dove, because this would mean deaf. The adjective form of dof would become this, doffe. Because we want to preserve the O sound more than we want to turn F's into V's. And this is not allowed. We would not never say doffe. You'd never have two V's or two Z's after each other in Dutch.
Is het hetzelfde voor stof? Of niet?
Stof?
Ja. Maar dat is weer maar maybe. Kan
Stof,
materiaal zijn.
Yeah, stof as in the material.
Ja.
Yes, indeed. But we will get to that now.
Yeah.
Materials. If it's a material, then you don't add an E. You always add EN. This is the easiest case, but you just need to know which words refer to materials. So hout means wood, and hek means fence. You wouldn't make het houten hek, but you may make het houten hek or een houten hek, the wooden fence, a wooden fence. This is the same as in English. You also add en to the end. If you use it in predicative form, you would not. You could say het hek is hout. It sounds a bit weird, but you mostly would say het hek is van hout. And so what Milena just mentioned is the material adjective stof, which means to be made of fabric.
Or dust.
Stof means just fabric. And fabric something means fabric something. And so the you would say the couch made of fabric, not of leather or something. It would say the stoffenbank. Okay. So is that clear how adjectives work? I hope you've seen this before at least once. So my rushed explanation somewhat some will be able to follow. If not, please let me know. Otherwise we will move on. Yes? Cool. Right. Then.
teach you about the trappen van vergelijking. So pretty much the stairs of comparison, sort of. And we have 3 layers on these stairs. So the first layer would be the stellende trap, or the positive degree, in which you just state something. So in this case, hij is sterk or he is strong. You're stating that someone is strong, for example, the man. Then we have different rules for an indefinite article or definite article. For an indefinite article, male or female, so de man, you get plus e. So it will be een sterke man. And for het verhaal, it will be een sterk verhaal. So without an e, you just leave it like that. You just leave it like sterk. For a definite article, you get de sterke man, so plus an e. But in this case, het verhaal would also be het sterke verhaal. So therefore, there's a difference in indefinite verbs and definite or articles. Sorry, definite articles. Usually, you use this when there is no comparison. But if you use it to compare something, it's comparing between 2 things, but they are the same. So hij is even sterk als zij means he is as strong as she is. Hij is net zo knap als zij. She is as pretty, or he is as pretty as she is. So you're not comparing someone to someone else and saying that someone is better or transcend something else or someone else. You just say it's the same as. If you want to say that someone is better, prettier, stronger than someone, in that case, oh wait, you use the next step, so you use the comparative degree. But first, we have an exercise. Can someone tell me in the first example, dit is een something table. Dit is een tafel. So think of the article tafel.
Mooi, right? No e.
Why would you say that?
Because it doesn't have a de or het. Oh, but it has dit, so I don't know.
Okay, so you just look at tafel.
Oh,
What is the article of tafel? De or het?
de,
Okay.
de.
Yeah,
de.
good. Okay, de
Okay.
tafel.
Oh,
in
so
this
then
case-
it's mooi with e.
Yes, perfect. Good. Yeah. So that would be, dit is een mooie tafel.
Dit is een mooie tafel. Okay.
Yeah, so plus an e. Yeah. Because the article is de from tafel.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. The next sentence. Het is vandaag, gisteren. This is actually already the next step, but can someone try?
Het is vandaag warmer als gisteren.
Okay. In the case that we just looked, so it's today, it's the same temperature as yesterday. What would it be? So not the comparative degree, but still in the positive degree. So we're just saying it's the same as. So today is the same temperature as.
Het would be even warm als gisteren.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And we'll come to that later. So in the comparative degree, you would say warmer dan, but we'll get to that later. But good. Perfect. Okay. So the next sentence. Ik ben mijn jas vergeten. So I forgot my coat. Think of the sounds that Thomas also just explained. You want to preserve the sound, dik. So fijn.
Ik ben mijn dikke jas vergeten.
Yeah. And how would you write it?
D-I-K-K-I.
Yeah, perfect. Good. Ik ben mijn dikke jas vergeten. Because we want to preserve that sound from dik. All right, last sentence. Wat een idee. No trick question.
Yeah,
Anyone?
I don't think the spelling changes. So, wat een goed idee. With
Okay.
no-
What is the article of idee?
oh, oh, is it? I don't know. I think it's the.
Okay, it is het idee.
Okay.
So in this case, it would be wat een goed idee.
So without the e. Or with.
Without the e. Yeah, because if we go back here, you see for het verhaal, so het idee,
Mhm.
it would be een sterk verhaal.
Oh, right. Okay.
So een goed idee.
Yeah.
Oh, we also have the. Okay. So these are the sentences that we just did. Anyone any questions so far? No? Okay, I'll continue. So after that, we have the comparative degree. So in this case, you're saying someone is better at or at something. So for example, zij is sterker, she is stronger. For the indefinite verb, or indefinite article, why do I keep saying verb? Okay, for the indefinite article, you would use, for a de or het word, you would say een sterkere vrouw. For, for a de word, sorry, for so a male or female. And for an het word, you would say een sterker verhaal. So same as the first one. For male or female words starting with de, there comes an e after the er that you already put like after the word. So for this, usually for the comparative, you just take the word. So for example, sterk, and you put er after it. For male or female words starting with de or with an article de, there comes an extra e. So for the definite articles, it's exactly the same as before. It's de sterkere man, het sterkere verhaal. So in that case, you have again both plus e after the er. So you add an extra e. So usually in the comparative degree, you always add plus er. And in this case, for the indefinite article, male or female version, you add an extra e to that. And in the definite articles, you use an extra e for both. Of course, there are usually exceptions, but we'll get to that. And again, keep in mind what Thomas just told. You want to preserve the sounds, but we don't want any extra letters. So groot would be groter with just one O. And snel would be sneller because you want to preserve that sound and you add an extra L. Same as with dik or dikke, you would use an extra K to really put the attention on the dik sound. All right. So in this case, if we would, from the sentences that we got after the positive degree, if you would want to say that it's hotter than yesterday, so today the weather is hotter than it was yesterday, we would say the weather of het weer is warmer dan gisteren. So if we want to say something, he is as strong as she is, then we always use als. Hij is net zo sterk als zij, of even sterk als zij. For comparative degree, if you want to say someone is better than, so it's kind of the same as in English, you would say Piet is sterker dan Jan. So Piet is stronger than Jan is. All right. Thomas, did you plan on showing a video with this, or it's just the example?
Yeah, there's a video here, but it's not. That will be too much hassle to show. I can tell you something about this. So this is I think the thing that supporters of the Utrecht Football Club sing, and the example I want to show here, or well, not me, I didn't make this, but the example that's meant to show here. So what they sing is: er is geen mooier plekje als Utrecht mijn stad, als Utrecht mijn stad. And what they do here is use als instead of dan for the comparative, which is the thing that a lot of Dutch people do wrong to the point where it's almost correct now. Because normally you would say er is geen mooier plekje dan Utrecht mijn stad, dan Utrecht mijn stad. But they say als because a lot of Dutch people say this.
Yeah,
way.
it's actually
That's
also correct now, right?
Yeah, it's basically correct.
Honestly, hate it.
Yeah, I don't vibe with it either. But now you know better.
Exactly. So if you use the comparative degree and you compare something to something else and you say that it's better than, you always use dan. All right. Now we have the last step of the sterile, and it's the superlative degree, so the overtreffende trap. So you want to say that something is the best of all the things. So Piet is the strongest. Piet is het sterkst. In this case, yeah, for the indefinite article, for de words, so male or female words, so de poging in this first example, you could say een alleraardigste poging. So you could say, yeah, I don't know if I would use the word alleraardigst, but it sort of means it's a good try. It's the best tries like so far. One of the best, like, I think I would say that. I think I've maybe think of something else. Okay, so you could also say, I'll think of something. Do you have something, Thomas? That's another example. Or...
Yeah, no, so why this example is here is because normally with you would never use the superlative.
No, exactly.
No, because you wouldn't really say a best try, right? That sounds a bit strange, unless you are talking about in the context of like best tries, but usually there's one best.
Yeah,
try,
exactly.
whatever.
So, all right.
But this is like a weird word that only exists in the superlative. So you would usually only say alleraardigst. You wouldn't say alleraardige. That's not a word. So this example is here because it's the only example.
Yeah. So usually you would say the best try, and not een. So you would just use de or het. So for meisje, het meisje, you would say een alleraardigst meisje. For definite articles, we could say de sterkste man, so the strongest man of all. And usually for the superlative form, you use plus st. In this case, de sterkste man en het sterkste verhaal get an e. But if you look at een alleraardigst meisje, you just use plus st. But we usually don't use the versie in the superlative or overtreffende trap. So usually you would just say de sterkste man, het sterkste verhaal, but you wouldn't really use een. Now there is one rule in superlative. Usually if a word turns into a word that's hard to pronounce or would sound a little bit weird, we just use the word meest. So the word timide or timid in the comparative degree would be timider. So plus er. And then in the superlative, you use meest timide. So just to avoid getting words that sound weird, getting words that you should have to spell really weird, because it would be timidest, which you could say and you could write, but it's usually way easier just to make it meest timide. Same goes for logisch, so logically or logic, logischer, and meest logisch. So it's the most logic way to solve something. It's de meest logische manier om iets op te lossen. Enthousiast would become enthousiaster, and in superlative would become meest enthousiast. Just so you have like an easier way of saying it, spelling it, because enthousiaster would be enthusiast, which would be a lot. So you could just say meest enthousiast. Other things, usually, and I don't know if we have an exercise. All right, okay, I'll just tell you this first. There are some irregular forms. You could say goed, but goed would not become goeder and goedst. Goed in the comparative becomes beter, and the best, so superlative would be best. Graag, so I would like to, or wordt uiteindelijk, so becomes liever, and then superlative becomes liefst. So in this case, you see that we have what Thomas just said, the voiced consonants at the end of the word, so liefst or lief, and it's just lief plus st. And for the comparative degree, you get the unvoiced consonants in the middle, because we prefer that. We wouldn't say liever, but we'd say liever with a V instead of an F. Veel would become meer or meest, and weinig would become minder, so less, of minder, so least. Do you guys have questions about this so far? Oh, okay. Before we do an exercise, there are some other things. So just keep in mind that the spelling can sometimes change. So the F goes to the V and the S goes to the Z because it sounds better. But if your adjective ends with an R, so for example, the word duur or expensive, usually in the comparative, you get a D. So it would become duur, duurder, so not duurder, it will become duurder. And in the superlative, it would become duurst. So then you would just take duur and then put plus st, like at the end of it. Adjectives that end with an E that sounds like a U. So oranje would sound like an E instead of an E. Just use meest. So for example, if you would have oranje, let me type this in here for you. In the comparative, I would say something is meer oranje dan iets anders. So mijn shirt is meer oranje dan jouw shirt. This is not something you would usually say because oranje is just a weird word. I would just say that my orange is brighter than your orange, for example. So mijn oranje or mijn shirt is feller oranje dan jouw shirt. So you would just always keep the word oranje, and then in superlative it would be meest oranje. So it's a little bit of a weird word, oranje. You have some other words that do also sound or have like an ending with an E that sounds like an E sound. Just keep in mind that you can also do it like this. Timide is the same version actually. Timide is actually an E, but it sounds like an E sound. So it would also become, you could also say meer timide, but you could also say timider. So that should be fine. But oranje is just like a weird word, and I came across and I was like, nah, might be nice to also explain that. And adjectives ending with an S or an S sound, usually just an S, get plus T in the superlative. So, for example, the word vers, which means fresh, would become verser. So just keep the S in the comparative, and in the superlative it will become versed. So just the word plus T. Or any questions about that? Those are just some like exceptions. These are just the basic rules, so if you just stick to it, it should be fine. But those are just some rules for words that might be weird. Any questions about that? Otherwise, we'll go do an exercise. All right. So the word goed. Go for an irregular one first. Mijn Nederlands is something dan haar Nederlands. And the word you should use is goed.
Mijn Nederlands is beter dan haar Nederlands.
Very good. So, beter. Vandaag is het veel dan gisteren. And the word is koud.
Vandaag is het veel kouder dan gisteren.
Very good. The next one. 21 december is de van het jaar. You missed the word dag. So it should be 21 december is de dag van het jaar. With the word kort. So you want to say it's the shortest day of the year.
Um, 21 december is de korte van dag van het jaar.
Okay, so in this case, it's the superlative. You want to say it's the shortest of all the days in the year.
Mm-hmm.
So in superlative, you would put what at the end of the word? In comparative, it's plus ER. In superlative, it's
ST. So
Yeah.
kortst.
and it's a de word, de dag.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't write it down.
So for de and het words, it's plus E. So plus an extra E. So it's kortste.
Okay. Yeah.
So 21 december is de kortste dag van het jaar.
Okay.
In Utrecht zijn de jonge mensen student. And you want to say veel.
In Utrecht zijn je de meeste jonge mensen student.
Very good. De meeste jonge mensen. Ja. And the last one. There's something on my screen. Wait a second, guys. We zijn allebei 1,20 meter. Dus hij is ik. So you want to say someone is just as tall as you are.
We zijn allebei 1,20 meter, dus hij is even lang als ik.
Yeah, very good. Hij is even lang als ik. Alright, very good. Okay. The next sentence. Naar welke muziek luister jij het And you have to fill in the word graag.
Naar welke muziek luister jij het liefst?
Yeah, very good. Het liefst. Oké, 7. Ik vind de Jumbo een supermarkt dan Albert Heijn. En dat wordt dus goedkoop. So cheap.
Ik vind de Jumbo een goedkoper supermarkt dan Albert Heijn.
Okay, so what would you put at the end of goedkoop?
I put ER goedkoper because it's the supermarkt.
It's the supermarkt, so it should be goedkoper. With an
Oh
extra,
ja.
because it's the word. Alright. 2020 wordt een jaar dan 2019. You should fill in the word leuk or fun. I think we've already proven that it isn't, but anyone?
Ja, so 2020 wordt een leukere jaar dan 2090. Is het de jaar?
Het jaar.
So leuker.
Leuker. Ja, very good. Wordt een leuker jaar dan 2019. Ja. Een trein gaat niet als een vliegtuig. And you want to say snel or fast.
Een trein gaat niet sneller als een vliegtuig.
Okay, but in the comparative degree, you don't use als, but you use dan. Because otherwise you would get the example where they say no town is better als Utrecht. Dus geen stad is beter als. But if we use the comparative, so we say something is better than, we use dan. It's the same as in English. It's the same as something, so you use als, or it's better than, and you use dan. So in this case, you want to say that a train doesn't go as fast as a plane. It's a little bit of a weird sentence, but...
So it's niet even snel als een vliegtuig?
Ja, gaat niet even snel als een vliegtuig of gaat niet zo snel als. Ja, perfect. Very good. All right. Now there's again a little bit the main screen. Okay. Hoe je oefent hoe moeilijk Nederlands is. The first one is veel and the next cap is weinig. You have to put it in the right form.
Hoe meer je oefent, hoe minder moeilijk Nederlands is.
Yeah, very good. Hoe meer je oefent, hoe minder moeilijk Nederlands is. Very good. All right. Thomas, do you want to do the herhaling van last week?
Yes. But before that, I think should we take a
Stop.
break now, or should we? Because this.
It's
I think we should take a break first.
Yeah.
So let's meet back at 7:05, and then we'll continue with this repetition, do an exercise, and hopefully have you do an exercise as well to talk to each other. All right.
And if you have any questions, just ask.